this week did not go how I anticipated going for myself, and I'm a little bit bummed. But these guys on this team, they picked me up when I needed it last night, and we got a great team.
Scottie Scheffler's voice cracked, and 4 words spilled out that sent golf into panic mode. It's over for me. No context, no roadmap, just a confession that stunned fans, rattled analysts, and left rivals whispering about what comes next. Was this a slip of emotion, or the start of a downfall nobody saw coming? Let's pull back the curtain.
My emotions yesterday afternoon when the matches ended, I think it's hard to put into words how much it hurts to lose all 4 matches, to have the trust of my captain and my teammates to go out there and play all 4 matches and lose all 4. It's really hard to put into words how much that stings and hurts. And
Scottie Scheffler walked into Bethpage on September 26th like a general returning home from war. He had conquered the PGA Tour all season, hoisted majors, collected top 5s as if they were participation ribbons. By every metric, he was the undisputed number 1. But the Ryder Cup has a cruel sense of humor, and by September 28th, the American general was a casualty. Europe retained the cup, 15-13, and Scheffler stood at the epicenter of the U.S. collapse.
Got a chance. Round. Scottie began the day 2 back. He is now 2 ahead.
The optics were brutal. Cameras caught his face tightening with each missed putt, each lost hole, each fan jeer that pierced the air like a dagger. This wasn't the machine-like Scheffler of Augusta. This was a man realizing, in real time, that the moment was bigger than him. Afterward, his words cut deeper than any scorecard. This was one of the lowest moments of my career. When the world number 1 admits that, the quote ricochets. For Team USA, Scheffler's unraveling became shorthand for failure. No matter how many points others grabbed, his flameout was the narrative. For social media, the memes wrote themselves. The champ who couldn't win a single match, the Iron Man turned paper tiger. Bethpage Black is known for devouring egos. This time, it consumed America's brightest. And suddenly, Scheffler's perfect season looked more like a setup for tragedy than triumph.
Seeing you visibly frustrated like it was yesterday, and obviously the conditions were bad, so.
Yeah, you've played golf before, right?
I'm frustrated more than you are.
Yeah, so you get it then. No, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm a competitive guy, and, I felt like I could have played a lot better this week. Like I said, I'm really close. I don't think.
Numbers don't lie, but they sure can humiliate. Scheffler's Ryder Cup ledger at Bethpage was the stuff statisticians whisper about in bars. 0 wins, multiple losses, and not a single point delivered when his team needed him most. For the world number 1, that's not just a bad week, that's scandal. Start with the foursomes and 4 balls. Paired with partners meant to balance his steadiness with spark, Scheffler instead missed key approaches, burned edges with short putts, and walked off greens shaking his head. The low point? A cruel ricochet off the flagstick that turned a near-perfect shot into a bogey. Golf gods laughing, live on camera. Then came singles. This was supposed to be redemption. 1 man against 1 man, no excuses. Instead, Scheffler's putter betrayed him. A short par miss flipped momentum. Another lip-out was met with silence. Even the crowd seemed stunned. By the end, his match was another entry in the wrong column, a final nail in Team USA's coffin. Analysts wasted no time digging into history. How many reigning world number 1s had left a Ryder Cup winless? Almost none. For Scheffler, this wasn't just a statistical outlier, it was a stain. Sports Illustrated's post-mortem used words like rare, shocking, and collapse. Fans on Twitter weren't as polite. Fraud, soft, overrated. When even numbers mock you, the damage lingers. Scheffler didn't just lose matches, he lost invincibility. His Bethpage scorecard became a symbol. The numbers themselves turned into hecklers, etched forever in Ryder Cup lore. If you've been following Scheffler's journey and want deeper dives into moments that change athletes forever, hit that subscribe button. This channel is where we unpack not just the highlights, but the collapses, the controversies, and the untold sides of the game.
Probably one of the lowest moments of my career, but, it turned out to be one of the most special just because I've got great friends in this room. And
if the numbers painted the crime scene, Scheffler's own words supplied the confession. He didn't duck microphones. He didn't spin. Instead, he sat in front of cameras with glassy eyes and called Bethpage one of the lowest moments of his entire career. For a man who built his reputation on stoicism, never too high, never too low, the vulnerability was jarring. On Instagram, his post read like a diary page accidentally made public. Gratitude for fans, sorrow for his performance, and a subtle plea for forgiveness. No excuses, just raw disappointment. That honesty made him oddly sympathetic, a superstar stripped bare by a week he could not control. But in the hands of media, that same honesty became gasoline. If the best in the world is shattered by a Ryder Cup, what does that say about Team USA's psychology? The optics only amplified it. Clips of Scheffler walking alone, shoulders sagging. Teammates consoling him with awkward pats. His caddy staring into the distance, jaw tight. Meanwhile, fans posted memes of his slumped posture beside the scoreboard, captioned, "World number one?" The internet has no mercy. Yet here's the paradox. By admitting pain, Scheffler humanized himself. And in the tabloid cycle, humanity is weakness. He wasn't just a golfer who lost. He was a man caught in the most public therapy session in sports. The Ryder Cup doesn't care about feelings, but audiences do. And Scheffler gave them a spectacle of failure, complete with tears between the lines.
Francesco Molinari, this guy right here has always been just a very sweet-spirited man. And, we had a heated moment yesterday, but what many of you don't realize is that we got over it. By the time we walked off the 16th tee, it was over. And neither one of us want to make this competition about us.
Pressure makes cracks. At Bethpage, those cracks didn't just appear on the scorecard. They showed up in the relationships inside Team USA's camp. Cameras caught it, microphones sniffed it, and social media replayed it in glorious slow motion. Scottie Scheffler and his caddy caught in a heated exchange. Voices raised, gestures sharp. A Ryder Cup sideline spat dressed up as strategy talk. Reports later confirmed what fans already sensed. There was real tension. One flashpoint came during a rules dispute involving Francesco Molinari, a moment that spiraled into back-and-forth words, followed by visible agitation between Scheffler's camp and European players. The New York Post gleefully reported on a dust-up that required apologies and handshakes afterward. In other words, the Ryder Cup didn't just take Scheffler's swing, it tested his patience, his partnership, and his composure. On broadcast, you could see the body language, crossed arms, clipped answers, sideways glances. Golf's most buttoned-up duo suddenly looked like a married couple mid-divorce. Analysts quickly jumped in with theories. Was it tactical disagreement, emotional burnout, or simply the Ryder Cup pressure cooker boiling over? Former captains chimed in on ESPN, noting that friction in pairings or with caddies can unravel confidence faster than any missed putt. For Scheffler, the image of arguing with his trusted bagman was worse than a double bogey. It turned his personal struggles into a team drama, and team drama is social media's favorite blood sport. By Sunday evening, apologies had been made, the air cleared. But the footage was permanent. And in this age of viral meltdowns, an apology is just the sequel. The fight always trends first. Bethpage Black was supposed to be patriotic. Instead, it turned into WrestleMania. The crowds weren't just loud, they were feral. From the first tee box, European players were showered with boos, chants, and slurs that felt ripped from a football terrace. It crescendoed into something uglier, a beer hurled toward Rory McIlroy's wife, hecklers crossing every line of decorum, and officials later scrambling to issue apologies. Now imagine being Scottie Scheffler in that environment. Already battling form, already questioning himself, and now surrounded by a wall of noise. Analysts later explained what every golfer knows but never says aloud. Hostile crowds raise the pulse, disrupt breathing, and turn simple routines into chaos. When you're grinding over a 6-foot putt and someone yells your name with venom, mechanics collapse. Scheffler's concentration was shredded. Clips showed him backing off shots, glaring into galleries, muttering under his breath. Fans turned his winless streak into a chant, each miss met with jeers. It wasn't just Europe beating him, it was Bethpage itself. Afterward, media outlets like Reuters and The Guardian condemned the scenes, calling the atmosphere toxic and a stain on American golf. PGA executives even issued apologies, acknowledging the abuse. But by then, the narrative had calcified. The crowd didn't just witness Scheffler's collapse, it co-authored it. In Ryder Cup lore, Bethpage will be remembered as a carnival of hostility. For Scheffler, it was like fighting a battle with the enemy on the green and his own fans in the rough. When golf turns gladiatorial, even the number one can't escape unscathed.
My emotions yesterday afternoon when the matches ended, I think it's hard to put into words how much it hurts to lose all 4 matches, to have the trust of my captain and my teammates to go out there and play all 4 matches and lose all 4.
When Scottie Scheffler muttered, "It's over for me," the tabloids roared. Social media clipped it, remixed it, and served it up as a declaration of self-destruction. Retirement rumors, crisis hashtags, the end of an empire, all in one viral soundbite. But in reality, Scheffler never announced an ending. He announced a wound. His full statement painted a different picture. Deep disappointment, yes, but also determination to learn, improve, and come back stronger. Still, the nuance didn't matter. Headlines had already written the obituary. For Team USA, the fallout was brutal. Captaincy decisions under fire, pairing strategies questioned, calls for more sports psychologists, stricter crowd control, and a total rethink of preparation. The narrative was no longer about Europe's excellence. It was about America's implosion, and Scheffler, their brightest star, as its tragic mascot. For Scheffler himself, the future is a paradox. He remains the world's best golfer, the guy who dominated the tour season. Yet he now carries the label of Ryder Cup liability, the one who cracked when the team needed him. Every future cup pairing, every team interview, will summon Bethpage ghosts. And that's the real cruelty. Scoreboards fade, but narratives linger. Europe lifted the trophy, America licked wounds, and Scheffler walked off Bethpage not just defeated, but rebranded. No longer the invincible Texan, but the man who let the cup, the crowd, and himself swallow him whole. Scheffler says, "It's over for me." But is it really? His career could either shatter here, or this could be the moment that redefines him. What's your prediction? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in this saga.